new episode of Black Bear Voices presented by our very close personal friends at Bangor Savings Bank. Today we got a good one, 2011 Maine graduate, closing in on a decade of professional overseas experience on the court. Troy Barnies of Maine Basketball. Troy, first of all, man, how are you and where are you?
I'm doing really well, actually. I just flew into Lithuania a week ago today, and I'm about to start my preseason for my 9th year overseas.
That's pretty nuts. I mean, a decade overseas is nothing to shake at. It's very impressive. Last year you were in Russia, I believe, and when everything closed down, you were part of what could have been one of the last basketball games played pre-COVID because the Russia leagues were a little slow to shut down. Take me through the last couple months leading up to now. I mean, you kind of have to kind of evacuate out of Russia, for lack of a better word. And then what's the last couple months been like for you leading up to this new opportunity in Lithuania?
So after our season in Russia was canceled, I had my team buy my ticket home immediately. I didn't want to be stuck in Russia because God knows with all the borders closing down and everything, I may have been stuck there all summer. So made the move, got out of there, went home, and I took a couple weeks off, 2 or 3 weeks off. You know, I'm not too young anymore, so I got to take care of my body a little bit more than I used to. And I'd say probably around April, I was starting to work out again. I was just working on the little things for myself on the basketball court, which I was lucky to have my high school gym to work out in, and I was the only one allowed to use that gym, which was nice. So I lucked out there. And then also like just maintenance stuff, you know, strengthening certain muscles, doing some movement, just like making sure my body's ready to go for the upcoming season. I didn't know where I was going to end up. But in June, I had this offer for this Euro Cup team in Lithuania, and my agent made negotiations, and I didn't hesitate signing. I knew it was going to be rough with job opportunities for guys going overseas, with everything going on, and who knew what was going to happen. So as soon as I had the offer on the table, I took it, and now I'm here.
So now let's look forward. I mean, what's your timeline? You've been in the country for a week. You've been through the testing. It looks like you're going to be good to go. What's the timeline for the team and the league? What's it all looking like as they kind of phase in? Before we were talking, you said September is the goal to start a competition, both domestic and the Euro Cup slate. So what's the path ahead look like for your team in Lithuania?
So we have 3 foreigners. We have 2 Americans, me and another player, and then a Croatian. We're the 3 foreigner players. And then our 2 coaches, the head coach and the assistant coach, are both Serbian. So we all came to Lithuania basically the same day, and we all got tested once, and then we just got tested this morning again. So we had to be double tested before we were able to be around people or start practicing with teams. So first test, all 5 negative. Today, I'm assuming it's going to be the same because we've been isolated. Hopefully it works out. So say we're all good to go. Tomorrow morning, we have to do some strength tests basically on the biodex and do some VO2 max running on the treadmill with like those things strapped up to us. They want to make sure our health is good and everything is working. So we're going into the season healthy. And then tomorrow night might be the first practice with all the guys together in uniform. So I'm looking forward to finally being back on the court,
right?
With a team, you know,
right. Totally.
As like schedule goes, schedule looks like September 17th. We have our Lithuanian league game, and then maybe another game in between there, and then Euro Cup, which is our international league. We travel outside the country. Will be September 30th.
Jeez. So talk to me about this kind of culture. You mentioned only a handful of players from outside of Lithuania on your team. You've been all over Finland, Turkey, Hungary, Latvia. I'm sure every culture is a little different, but what's that kind of experience being an American player in Europe in these countries that most Americans couldn't find on a map, and being kind of this lone figure in some cases, or just 5 in your case? What's that experience like being a part of a team culture in a foreign country?
I think it's at first, like, I was kind of culture shocked when I went to Turkey. It was my first year overseas, first year ever leaving the country of the United States. So I was kind of shocked when I went into, a Muslim culture. Not that I have anything against, obviously. I'm just saying it was drastically different compared to like a Western European thing. Right. So I went there, was a little culture shocked, didn't know how to handle things, didn't know what to do, asked a lot of questions, all this stuff. But now, even if I went back to Turkey or any other random country, I figure out to kind of adapt with how things are run in each country. I would say most countries are the same when it comes down to things. Like, with food ordering. Like, I think they handle things very well here, like transportation, food, all that stuff. I have an apartment, I have a car. Like, they make it as normal as possible for everyone, regardless if you're a foreigner or, a player from the country. So the only difference is like communication. I obviously all my teammates can speak English, my coaches speak English. But like going to the grocery store, if I'm looking for something, I need some help or something like that, or going to a restaurant, ordering food, and I want to communicate, and maybe they don't speak English, which is common. That's kind of frustrating here and there, but like I learned I just completely understand that I'm not in my own country. Like the only language I know is, English. They know 2, 3, maybe even 4 languages, and like there's no point for me to be frustrated with not knowing or their language, not being able to communicate. So I say communication's number one with like just general population going around. But other than that, it's not that different.
Right.
Like, yeah. So that's what I would say that.
Yeah. So speaking of languages, that actually leads perfectly. I read an article that you pegged your wife as having 5 or 6 languages under her belt. You got married last July. She's had almost as interesting of a COVID experience, if not more so than yourself. She's a med student, from what I understand.
Yep.
She's from Norway, and she was in Hungary going to med school and went home to help her country deal with COVID-19. What's that been like for your relationship? I mean, I know you guys have been apart for a large part of it, but that whole crazy couple months, what was that like for you guys together?
So it's been insane. Long story short, I'll say this as quick as I can. Last year when we got married in July, we got married in Maine. She was with me for like two months, two or 3 months. After we got married, we were together, obviously still in Maine for about a couple weeks. And then she had to go back to school. She had to go back home and do stuff and start working again. In Norway, she works in Norway while she's not like in school in Hungary. So with this happening, she went back home a little early. I was ready to go back overseas, and I didn't get a job until November. Like I was still rehabbing. I was still like because I had that knee surgery a year ago or 2 years ago, rehabbing. So I didn't see her until November. She came to see me in Latvia when I was in Latvia for 1 week. And then she left. She had to go back for work. She had to work. And then I only had a 2-month contract with the Latvian team. It was basically for me to like get my shoes back in the door of Europe because I was injured for a whole year. So it was like, let's put you on this team for a 2-month contract, do your thing, and then sign more money, bigger teams elsewhere. That's how I ended up in Russia. So I went from Latvia to Russia, and then about end of February, March, things were going crazy with the pandemic. And we were planning for her to come out to Russia to see me, but it didn't work out. So fast forward from when I came home in March, she wasn't able to come to the United States. Obviously, all borders were closed down basically in every country when it was going really insane. So last time I've seen her was in November. And the last time I really got to spend time with her was right after our wedding. So it's been a little over a year where we've actually been together.
You guys have, I mean, we see in the United States where the pandemic has been kind of regional, where some parts of the country are doing better than others. Is it similar in Europe? Are you guys maybe going to be able to see each other soon, or not so much?
I would say it's the same. Like the bigger cities, like Milan, all the bigger cities in Europe, in all the countries, they're obviously the problem because, the tourists or people that are coming in and through, or people working in other countries, that's how it kind of overflowed. And it's kind of the same situation in America. We just have a lot more people, and that's why our cases are a lot higher and all of that situation. But not saying we couldn't have done better, but I'm saying that's the reason why. It's like you'll see New Zealand's cases have been super low because they're out there, they're rural area, they're away from everyone. So it's kind of the same as it is, we're lucky, like in Maine, we won't be bombarded with it as much, even if everyone didn't wear masks or everyone didn't follow protocol, just because we're also separate, and our state doesn't have a lot of people compared to New York or California or whatever. So I think it's very similar to European side.
Right. So are you going to be able to see her soon, or are you guys still kind of
That's the great thing. Now that I'm here and I have my apartment and all these things that I got done and I'm here, she is going to be, we're looking for flights for her to come like within the next like 2 or 3 weeks. So
That's
we're pumped. And she has to go back to school for her last year.
right.
But it looks like there's a possibility that she can possibly do most of her classes till December online. So she'll be able to live with me, hopefully, till like December or something. So we're kind of winging it at the moment, but our priority is like her to get here and, obviously see each other. We have a lot of making up to do.
Right. Well, I mean, winging it, I think, is a great word to describe kind of this overseas experience for you, from what I understand. You kind of just take it as it comes. Your life is very kind of lived by the moment and by the league.
Yep.
So you've been able to build a career that's going to reach into in a decade qualification here soon, which is amazing. But as you get married, as you kind of transition and go through injuries and you kind of get down the path a little bit, do you start thinking about the future and what comes after basketball?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So obviously I've invested a lot of my life into basketball and I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot from different experiences, from obviously the high school level, college, Division I level, and now professional at even the highest level in Europe, the highest levels in Europe. So like, I don't see myself doing anything other than that, something that has to do with basketball. So I've already decided a long time ago that I want to invest in coaching for sure. Right. So I think when I retire and I'm done playing and I hang up the jersey, I'm going to start looking at applying for places to start working full-time as a college coach or even the professional level. I want to broaden my area. I want to get paid full-time to coach because I feel like I can add a lot of different things to a program or a professional team or a club or whatever. So like, that's pretty much my goal, I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you talk about coaching after you're done playing, do you see that happen? Do you see yourself staying in Europe or do you see yourself coming home or?
We'll go back to the winging part of it. Don't even know, honestly, because my wife will become a doctor in about a year and she can work in any country that she can speak the language. And obviously she can speak English. So, we have to look at it down the road a little bit. So winging it is going to kind of be the thing, but like, I think it will be a lot. There might be options open for me in Europe and there might be options for me in college. I mean, in America, like I could see myself being a Division I coach down the road for sure, work my way up the ranks. I can contribute a lot to a lot of programs, but also I've been over in Europe for longer than I played college basketball. I know this game over here almost better than I do the American game. So like I can also contribute to clubs over here. So I just don't know how it's going to go. Opportunity might present itself down the road, but I definitely want to coach when I'm done.
Right. Well, I mean, bringing it back to Maine and your time here over the last couple months while you've been kind of laying low. Obviously, you're an Edward Little alum down in Auburn. Recently, this court got renamed after you, and it was a total surprise to you. Do you want to kind of run people through that story and that experience for you? Because that's got to be pretty satisfying.
Yeah, it's crazy. So the courts that I grew up around my whole life. I used to go down there and play all the time, and I used to be down there 24/7 by myself with people. Didn't matter. Right. And I always since I graduated high school. I always went back during the summertime in college and worked kids out down there. And now that I'm in my professional level, I don't really play down there anymore. But I'll run clinics and I'll do trainings down there and I'll do stuff for kids all down there. And everyone knows the Gully as me because I'm always trying to be involved with it. I always have been. It made me who I am basically because it made me fall in love with the game and respect it as much as I do. So being down there so much my whole life, people, I don't know why they decided to do it. But they just, when they think the Gully, which is the name of the courts, they thought me, and the city wanted to name the main court after me. And now I have a big sign off, a big sign down in Auburn. So it's crazy that I'm 31 years old and I get a landmark in Maine right now, and I'm not dead and I'm not like retired or old yet. It's insane.
That's pretty nuts, man. I mean, you're peaking early. I have a bad feeling about the second half of your life here, but
I know. Like, where else am I gonna go? I gotta like be an NBA coach and win a national championships or something. Like, I don't know.
I think most guys would tap out after marrying a beautiful doctor from Europe, but I mean, you're pushing it, and I appreciate that.
Dude, my life, other than the fact that I can't be with my wife and I haven't seen her in a year, I would say my life is pretty much like where anyone would want it to be.
Right. And obviously, that's all because of your time spent in Orono with Maine men's basketball, obviously. So I want to talk to you a little bit about that. you're a guy that's very, very active with the program still. I see you hyping up Will Maywan, incoming freshman, all the time from your high school. I mean, how do you view that responsibility as one of the most prominent active alumni of Maine basketball? Is that any pressure on you? Do you feel any obligation? I mean, what's that mindset for you?
I think the only obligation that I feel towards the program is that having guys come up through, like freshmen coming up or international players coming through, I kind of want to give them a stepping stone of what is possible at UMaine. You know, like obviously the program has been up and down for a long time now, but it's about sticking with it and respecting like what you decided to go. Where did you go? I wanted to stay in Maine. I wanted to play in my state. I wanted to stay in Maine. That's why I stayed in Maine, and it worked out for me for sure. I can tell guys straight to their face. I wasn't the best. I was a nobody my freshman, sophomore, and junior year. I was nothing at UMaine. But like when you stick with it, you keep working, it will work out. My senior year was crazy, and it obviously set me up for the rest of my career right now. So like giving guys examples and telling them that it doesn't matter if you go to a big program or a mid-major or a low-level Division I program. It matters about fit. And I try to elaborate all of these things to these players going through, especially Wall Maywin and guys coming up to Maine as from high school. Like I try to explain to them the level, and it doesn't matter. You have to find the right fit. You have to be comfortable, and you also have to respect the game. You have to understand what side you're going to choose when you go to a school like that, you know?
Right. Totally.
So just giving them examples and basically telling them, hey, I've been there, done that, and I can tell you I'm still playing right now, so I'm not like washed up or anything. I can still beat all of them 100%. Don't tell them that.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I'm not washed. I'm still playing, so like take my word for it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Listen to me. I've been there. I can help if you got questions, like if you have anything, and I'll tell you real. I'll put like I won't sugarcoat anything. I'll tell you exactly how it is. So, like, I think a lot of guys respect that when they hear it from me.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I appreciate it. Hey, man. So that's pretty much all I got for you. I love talking to you, man. It's been a great time. I'll let you get back to business. Again, the league is set to start in early September. Stay tuned to Maine men's basketball social media channels. We'll be keeping up with Troy Barnies. Be Like Mike is a little outdated, so be like Barnies. Grind, find your fit, work hard. It'll all work out as it has for you, Troy. Thanks again for joining us, man. We'll
Thanks
talk
for
to
having
you real soon, and best of luck going forward.
Thanks, bro.
All right, man.